I'd like to call this meeting to order of the May 28th Park and Rec Commission. We'll go around and introduce ourselves. Steve Vesputa, Vice Chairman.
Matt Shaw.
Dan Zapatka.
Bill Nicoletti.
Allison Correa.
Deb Satanic.
Jack Pritchard.
Chuck Stackpole.
All right,
Just in time.
all right, we're gonna have public dialogue. Adam from Orange Little League, come up there and give a report, what you guys have done the past season, the number of, kids playing and stuff.
Sure,
All
sure.
right.
Yeah, so Adam Denahanian, President, Orange Little League. This is my second year as president. We are we're about a little bit more than halfway through our regular season, our spring season. Postseason talks are already underway, which is where I'm headed to right after this. We have a postseason meeting. We have about 400, just over 400 kids in the program between baseball and softball. Just under 300 for baseball, and then softball is a little bit more than 100. So spanning from the T-ball level all the way up to the majors level for both sides. T-ball is co-ed, and then from there they branch out into softball or baseball. So like I said, regular season's more than half over, and we'll be talking about that. Fall ball will be next on our agenda. We try to get that out like midsummer because we look to start that in September. Those numbers typically are a lot lower than spring for a variety of reasons. Travel ball, other sports during that time as well. So we tend to be a little bit lower, probably less than half of what we have in the spring come in the fall. But we typically we'll offer at all levels, and we try to have outside towns like within our district come and play us as well during the fall, just to get some additional games for the kids. In terms of projects at the field, we're always looking to do improvements there. The big thing last year was getting our scoreboard redone at Stanky Field, the softball field. And I know this group contributed to that as well. We thank you for that. It was awesome. That was like number one on our list of things to do, because that scoreboard that we had there, I don't know how old that thing was, but it predated me, I'm sure. So
Probably original.
it's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very possible. That was an original there.
Yeah.
It was not as easy as we thought getting it down and replacing, but we didn't have to take the whole structure down. We just had to take the scoreboard, and I say we, it wasn't me. But basically all they had to do was take the scoreboard off and then kind of put the new one in its place. So it saved some time, and then we had the electrical work redone there, and now we have like a wireless scoring system and all that stuff. So fantastic. We're very happy with how that turned out. We did a lot of work up on Roach Field, which is like the majors baseball field up there. We had the whole backstop redone. A lot of that wood was kind of falling off and just warped, and so we had all that taken down, new wood put up. We have like a windscreen in there now just to kind of keep it dark. We have to wait like a year, I think, to actually paint it to make sure that it holds. So that'll be a project that we do at some point, either the end of this year at some point or in the spring next year during our annual cleanup day. So that's one thing. The staircase going up to the Roach score box was redone towards the end of the summer, I believe, last year. That just something that needed repairs, and since we have scorekeepers going up there all the time, and people like to stand up on that like landing and watch the games, it's a good view of like both fields. It was just something, just from a safety concern, we wanted to make sure that was taken care of and all set. Bench was fixed inside of the dugout on Roach Field. The tops of the dugouts on Goldberg, which is the field down right below that, those were all redone, because some of those, like there was a couple holes and some things just kind of like ripping away. So we had those redone as well. And then all 4 batting cages have nets now. We have 4 cages there, 2 kind of like off in the back, and then 2 kind of where Brindley Field is in between that and the parking lot. and I think 2 of them didn't have nets and didn't have all the things to kind of hang the net. So all that stuff has been taken care of. We did that back in the during our cleanup day in the end of March. So that was all taken care of. We have a ton of teams that that use those for practices, before games, all kinds of stuff. And then the other thing we did was we rekeyed the entire complex. Something that we wanted to, that we talked about for a while, just in all my years on the board, like that's never been redone, and we don't know how many keys were out there, so we kind of just took it upon ourselves, like, hey, let's, for the safety of all the stuff that we have in our snack stands and all the equipment and all that stuff,
That's a good idea.
let's go and rekey, because while we try to keep track of those keys, it just they get passed down from year to year from new people on the board, and then sometimes you kind of lose track of them, and who knows where they end up. So a couple of future things. So the Plaskowitz field house, so there's the snack stand, and then right above it is like the field house where we have meetings and stuff. That landing where there's steps and like a ramp, that's something that we're looking to get redone as well. Some of those steps are, I think that's just old, and it's been a while since that's been done. And then a big thing, which is it's a huge undertaking, but the whole infield for Stanky Field just needs to have clay put down. That's a very expensive project, so it's something that we'll talk about it and figure out if we want to fundraise and make that just one big project, or if we want to. No, that Stanky's the main softball field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
T-ball needs some work, for sure.
So the T-ball field looks like it needs some work. What we did though is we're letting grass grow in the infield, so it looks like it hasn't been taken care of. But really, what we're doing is, if you look at it, there's actual cutouts of the base paths all along, and that's evenly done, and then there's grass growing everywhere else, because so it's going to take a little bit, but the idea is to do that so it's not all dirt. One, we just think it looks better. Two, to be honest with you, sometimes those T-ball kids are playing in the dirt and kicking around, and it just causes like a dust storm. So we said, well, maybe if we grow grass there. So that was the thinking behind that. So it doesn't look great now. We've had people say, like, are you guys even taking care of this? But it's going to take a while. But once that's done, I think it'll look good. So so I agree. And I don't know if, just a quick plug, I don't know if you guys know, but then we renamed the field a couple seasons ago to Clementine Field. There is a sign on there, and the whole thought behind that was a clementine is a little orange. So T-ballers, so that was the connection there. So we thought that was a good idea. So there was a sign on there, and that's strictly for T-ball. They're the only ones that play on that field. So
Do you have the Challenger League?
we don't. We had it
All right.
before I joined the board.
Yeah.
We had it. We had somebody on the board who was willing to make it big, and we did a lot of advertising. We had flyers that were sent to schools in surrounding towns, and we just didn't generate enough interest.
Okay.
There are 2 towns in our district that do a Challenger League. I think Cheshire is one, and I want to say North Haven, but I don't know if that one's the one off the top of my head. But there are 2 in our district that offer it. So if we ever get somebody who says, do you offer this type of league, like, we'll send them there.
Yeah. All right.
It's something that we would entertain if we've heard there was a lot of interest. It's just we had somebody strictly on the board just for the Challenger League. We put everything behind it that we possibly could, and it didn't generate a lot of interest.
Yeah,
So.
that was Mike Fisnick years ago who
Okay,
started
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was president when I first
Yeah.
joined
Yeah.
the board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yep.
Sounds-
That's pretty much all I had, unless there's.
Sounds like you guys have done a lot in the past couple of years.
We have done, the board is excellent. There are still a couple openings, but we have about 20 of us between hardball and softball. And, every meeting we talk about things that we could do to improve, and, the big projects we talk about over the winter, and to try to get those started before the season actually starts. But then all through the year, like, rekeying the complex was done literally right before the season started. So we're always looking to do stuff and improve that whole complex. I mean, it's fantastic. Like, we love it. For me, I coach 2 of my kids, so I coach softball and coach pitch hardball. So I literally can just walk from one field to the next when they play on pretty much at the same time. So for me, very convenient. But we get a lot of compliments from outside teams that come in and play there.
You having any postseason tournaments this year?
Yeah, so we have district play for the 10, 11, and 12 on the hardball side. And those teams are being formed this week.
Okay,
And then softball, there's not as many players, but we are forming a 10 district team.
yeah,
And then there'll be Seabreeze teams, which are, if you guys are familiar with Seabreeze, but it's not as competitive as the district teams, but it still gives players an opportunity to play summer ball, play against other towns. It's still more competitive than it was regular season. Regular season is just, more fun. It's for everyone. During this, postseason stuff of district and Seabreeze, it's for those that are, want to keep playing, take it seriously. It's still a lot of fun. I've been involved in the district stuff over the past few years. It's a great time, and you get to see some good competition. So.
all right. Any questions for Adam?
I was just curious on the numbers. Are the numbers pretty consistent over the last few years?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we are at the upper levels in majors. Softball side, we're about half. Like we only have one team in majors. We had 2 last year. From what I've gathered, like some have just stuck with travel ball and stayed doing that because that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Others just stopped playing altogether. We have one team, but it's 15 girls on one team, so not ideal. Like ideally, we like to have 12 maybe on a team, but we couldn't split that into 2. We made up for it though on the softball side in the coach pitch level because we had more compared to last year. Everything else is fairly even. I think we might actually be up like a few players overall, but it's usually pretty even. It's interesting because it's almost like every other year has a big group. It's just been kind of a pattern that way. I'm not really sure what. Like my son just graduated out of the program last year, and his group was, a pretty decent sized group, and the 12s now are like half that maybe, but then the ones behind it are another big group. So
That's interesting.
yeah, it is interesting. We thought maybe it was corresponding to like kindergarten registration, so we tried to see like how many kindergartens there are
Right.
at MLT compared to like how many T-ballers we have, but the numbers were pretty much the same in the past 2 years. So yeah, so I don't know. We'll keep monitoring that because we're trying to figure out. We want to make sure we don't lose numbers along the way. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So who does that one team play?
So in the softball side, we don't have enough teams in any of Coach Pitch has 4, Minors has 3, Majors has 1, and we play other towns in our district. So that's basically the whole schedule. We'll play our own teams where we can. The Majors obviously strictly just teams in our district.
Yeah.
So
How many teams in the boys' majors in the Eastern League? 6?
there are 6 majors, and then Easterns we actually renamed to Minors. I know Easterns was like an Orange specific thing, but
Yeah.
like most every other district or town and league call it Minors. So we changed it to Minors. There's 5 teams in Minors this season.
That's good.
So yeah, decent number. It's good. Yep.
All right. Any more questions for Adam? Thank you, Adam.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Appreciate it. Appreciate the time. Yep. Thank you. Now I'm off to a hardball.
Yeah.
meeting, so thank you.
All right. We have to do the approval of minutes from April. Can I have a motion?
I just have one correction, I think. Didn't you lead the meeting?
Yes.
And in the attendance, it has James as present and you as absent,
Oh,
even though you led the meeting.
yeah, all right.
Yeah. Sorry, that was the only thing I got.
All right.
Getting picky with it, but that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No.
It says he led them. I'm gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, no, I did the meeting.
Okay,
Jim wasn't here.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Any other corrections? Can I have a motion to accept? Or all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Oh. Oh. All right, all right. All right. All those in favor? Okay. Questions from previous meeting? I don't know what those were. Dan usually takes care of that. New business, I have nothing under grounds and facilities. You know, the guys are busy, mowing, lining the fields and stuff. The Cub Scouts had a big event last weekend up there fairgrounds. Yeah, yeah.
And it's cleaned up pretty fast too, after.
Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, the place is spotless. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good thing.
Yep.
You know? I think they come every 3 years or 4 years,
Yeah.
because I don't think they've have done it since COVID. But, no, it was well attended, like you said, Chuck. I drove by and it was crowded. Yeah.
Did you go by today?
No, that's the Olympics.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah,
Jim still doing that?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I was crowded up there too.
yeah,
Today.
yep, and, yeah. What's that, 5th and 6th grade Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe Jim still runs it. And then, that's a well-attended event too. All right, personnel. I don't have anything to budget. I don't know if you guys see anything. Well, let Dan know. And, director's report, chairman's report. I have no reports, I mean, Dan usually puts stuff in the packets. I would imagine the camp's pretty well full. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Men's softball. All right, they hired, the interviews for the summer camp counselors are complete. So, if everything's running smoothly, I believe, All right. Motion to adjourn?
I just have one, can I
Oh,
just,
yeah.
mention one thing, there's a, Federal Park meeting tomorrow, High Plains, 6:30,
All right.
on, obviously on the,
Is it open to the public?
Yes.
All right.
What is that?
That's another for the renditions and updates and changes that are being made. I haven't seen them all myself, but
Oh,
Couple months ago, right?
yeah,
About 2 months ago, they did.
Okay.
yeah.
They had the display, they had a couple different options.
Yeah.
We're gonna narrow some of them down and refine some of them, and we'll have a chance, the public will have a chance to comment on different, so.
So that's at 6:30 at High Plains?
6:30, yep. Oh, I'm sorry, Town Hall,
Okay,
Down here?
6:30, yeah, down here, Town Hall.
all
Has
right.
that been advertised at all?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
I haven't heard about it.
it goes out, PJ usually sends out something and then they,
Forage patch or something like that.
Yeah,
So it
Well-
must be, it's gotta be getting close to the end of these meetings, right?
I think
there's
they're,
nowhere near,
no,
I don't think it's anywhere near the end.
no,
Okay.
but they're, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm I'm wrong, Jack and Allison, because you guys were at the last public meeting. They're, finalizing the things they wanna do first, right?
Yeah, they're putting, the primary functions there, if you will, fields.
Yeah,
They have some renditions of housing with basketball courts underneath it and
Yeah,
different things. You
yeah.
just have to nail it down. I mean,
yeah,
it's a moving target.
yeah. I mean,
If we go too long, a whole bunch of people want something else.
correct.
And if you waited a year or 2 years, the whole thing changes.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, from what I saw, and, it's a road all around the fields.
The outside.
Three all-purpose fields and 3 all-purpose fields, various parking lots and parking spots in the road around it.
yeah, the parking is kind of from
Staggered.
the outside.
Yeah.
Staggered around. I
Yeah.
mean, it looks pretty good. I think the traffic flow is pretty good. I think they've done a nice job so far.
Yeah, and I went, a couple weekends, I drove in the fields and the playground is packed on weekends. That gets a lot of use,
The only thing, really negative feedback we've heard is sometimes there's some people that mention that the parking is still erratic. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, and there's no lines, but I think it's hard to explain to some people, don't understand how expensive it is just going to put asphalt down.
Oh, yeah, because you have to have
You flow, your catch basin, your retaining
storm
ponds.
sewer,
Storm-
yeah.
Do you think they could spray paint lines on the rock
I was gonna
gravel
say,
for
yeah,
a couple
process
summer
Well,
months?
Ross
I
does
think
that.
they did do that, I think it
Didn't
just
last
doesn't
long.
last that long.
Okay.
I think.
It could be really useful by the playground. I was actually there over the weekend
Yeah.
with my niece and nephew, and some people park, everyone's like this, and then you have
Yeah.
one car like this, and
Yeah.
then it
No,
gets out of hand pretty
But
quick.
it's crowded, the playground.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, they're perfect age.
Get
You
our
know?
money, get our money's worth out of it, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know what, maybe we can, I believe Lacrosse lines the parking lot sometimes for big tournaments or something, I don't know.
It's a big job.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you put, it's even hard, even when to try to put millings down. It's still tough, because then you're gonna dig it up again anyway when you move everything else around.
oh, yeah, no, you're right,
You know?
you're right. And, fields, the 6 fields are good size fields. So, it's, plan to,
Yeah.
work on.
That parking lot, you're talking millions, not, you're not talking hundred, you're
Yeah,
talking
of
millions.
Oh, yeah,
And that's just the parking lot.
That's just a parking lot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
So you wanna do it once. You
correct,
wanna get it right,
correct,
so.
correct.
And they'll come up with a proposal for that too. I mean, that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, they look at the costs and they help, I believe they help find the grants too, right?
Yeah, they'll assist helping with the grants. I'm not sure if they're gonna put somebody on it full-time, but they'll help out,
Yeah,
yeah.
all right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Just thought I'd let you guys know if you wanna stop down.
All right,
If I gotta go, why can't you?
if it rains, I'll go.
Only if it rains.
I'll take it.
Let's play golf, if it rains up the air.
All right.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All right, all in favor? All right, thank you, guys.